lift. A poor Uddiyana, the shoulders lift, whether you're doing it here or whether you're doing it somewhere else. Because it's meaning that you're not actually drawing from the center, you're just lifting from the top. Okay? So now we'll do 3 more slowly, and then I bring in the rhythm. If you want to work with the rhythm, that's fine, it's the best way to do it. Otherwise, just stay with the slow movement. So inhale first. Exhale, release the belly forward. Inhale, navel back. Exhale, belly forward. Inhale, navel back. Exhale, forward. Inhale, back. Exhale, forward. I'm going to bring in the rhythm. Exhale fully, take the thumb back. And release. Okay, so you have the 2 there. So you have the belly coming out as you inhale. Thumb back as you exhale. That's just normal breathing. Then you have the reverse breathing, where as you inhale, the thumb goes back, navel back. As you exhale, the belly expands. So you have 2 separate activities there. Yeah, doing roughly, some days you might just do 3. Some days you can do up to 36. If you're doing it regularly, then closer to 36 is useful because it sets up the center, the connection from the center, much better. Yeah. So now we do the Uddiyana Bandha, standing, and then the Majjanali, so pumping the belly forward and back. So make sure your feet are parallel, please, shoulder distance apart. Exhale fully. Palms open, inhale. Just the hands down the front to begin. Exhale all the way to empty, follow the navel back. Turn the wrist, inhale. Hold. Exhale all the way to empty. Now standing Uddiyana, inhale. Bending the knees forward, slide the hands, tongue out as you exhale. Make sure the kidneys are full, so it's that same movement you did in the spinal breathing. Tongue out, navel back. When you're ready to come up, hold the navel as you inhale. Tongue out, waist back, drop the tail. Navel back, hold the grip. Grip the anus. Coming up slowly. Inhale with that hold. Again, exhale, tongue out. Bend the knees. Kidneys full. Chin starts to go in. The more the breath goes out. Lock it in, chin in. Grip the anus, navel back, the 3 bandhas. Hold that grip on the anus as you lift up, on the navel as you stand up, then inhale. So see if you can get the 3 bandhas working together. Exhale, tongue out. Last 2. Slowly stand, hold the grip on the anus, on the navel. You can relax the grip on the anus as you exhale. Follow the navel back as you exhale. Hold the grip. And slowly inhale, standing up. And just take the hands down the center line. So just to be clear, when you're actually in the position, you have the 3 bandhas, right? So the navel's drawn back, you pull up on the pelvic floor, the chin is in. You hold it. As you come up, you keep the 2 on the base, You release the neck, obviously, to come up. You inhale. Then as you exhale, you release all of them. So you're exhaling, the bandhas are relaxed, and you just let the navel start to go back on the end of the exhale. On the empty, it's drawn back, the grip on the pelvic floor, the chin in, you've locked in. Maintain the bottom two as you come up, inhale, and then relax them all as you exhale. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Yeah?
When we do Jalandhara, the tongue comes in.
What comes in?
We stick the tongue out here.
Yes, the tongue comes back in on the empty.
Okay.
Yeah? So good question. When I've taken my head in, tongue in, chin in. The tongue goes back up against the palate. Yeah? Then I leave it there as I come back up. Inhale, release the bandhas. Exhale, tongue out. Everything's empty, empty, empty. Grip the anus, take hold of the navel, chin in, tongue up, and then repeat again. That make sense?
Dave, can I ask you a question?
If it's on the bandhas, yeah.
It is?
Go ahead.
On the holding the navel stem back and gripping the anus on the way up, and inhaling, it feels like there's a huge amount of effort involved in it, and I find if I do it a lot, I feel quite exhausted. It feels like it's a tiring set of activities in the practice.
Okay. You're probably doing them you're holding too long maybe, or maybe asking too much physical effort. Alright, so with practice it's refined. It's just a slight lift to the pelvic floor. You hold the navel back. That's it. And as you come up, you release the chin. You maintain a slight grip of the pelvic floor. Because what you're really doing is you're connecting the anus to the feet. So there's that connection from the pelvic floor to the feet. Maintain it. It's not a big grip. So if you're asking the muscle to do a lot of work, that's too much. It's just a slight grip. Hold of the navel back. So you have to play with the right amount of effort to do this. When I was doing it first, I was definitely doing too much, and it was like, because I was a muscly guy, I was like, do it from the muscles. No, you've got to refine the amount of effort it takes for you to maintain the grip. Okay? And then make sure on the exhale that you totally relax everything. Because if you maintain the grip on the exhale over time, you can be doing too much and you end up becoming tense inside. The whole thing is to actually open up and free the energy to move up. Yeah, so in my experience, with the right kind of effort, it actually increases your energy levels. It doesn't deplete them. So if it's feeling like it's depleting, maybe you have to look at how many am I doing? Am I doing too many? What's the physical component? Is it too much physically? It should be a slight grip of both the anus and a slight hold of the navel. That's it. And then make sure you release that as you exhale. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Again, you have to adjust. You make adjustments. When things don't feel right, you have to make adjustments. Whether it's this kind of technique or something else, particularly when you're working inside, you have to make an adjustment. And in my experience, most of the time the adjustment means I start with doing a little bit less. Don't do more, do less. And don't throw it out the window either. Yeah, you have to go, okay, well, what if I back off 50%? What does that feel like? Sorry?
I think maybe there's possibly an added aspect for women as well, as you're trying to adapt around the changes around your cycle.
Of course. So particularly at a particular age for a woman's cycle, then there's definitely going to be that change in hormones that will you'll start to feel more tired and exhausted anyway, for natural reasons. And these activities could be a bit confusing about that at first, particularly from the early 40s to the early 50s for the women in particular. The men it's a little bit later. I'm right more or less in the middle of it myself from an energetic level. So I know exactly what you're saying, but not from the female perspective, personally speaking, but talking with Ruth, there's an understanding there that yes, you have to be mindful of the hormonal change at a particular time, that these activities have to be monitored in terms of what energy they give you and what energy they take away and how they integrate with what else is going on. Yeah. So again, as I said, back off 50%. Work with it like that for a week or two, see what the energy levels are. Do you need to back off a little bit more before you add? And hopefully that makes a difference. And sometimes you might say, okay, I'll do it one day and then skip it the next day. There needs to be some degree of consistency, but it doesn't necessarily have to be every single day, depending on the stage of your life. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah? Okay. All right, moving on. So, stand with the feet shoulder distance, feet turned out. Exhale fully. Raise the arms, inhale. Pause. Exhale. Follow the navel back gently. Relax on the feet. We'll do one more. Inhale. Bend your knees now as you exhale. Palms down the center line. Pause below the navel. Hold the ball. Curl the fingers slightly like you're holding a small grapefruit in your hands. Relax equally on the feet. The weight drops down. The tail drops, and as the chin comes in. So there's a feeling of lengthening up through the base of the skull as the tailbone sinking down simultaneously. Elbows are wide. Palms and fingers are soft. There's this feeling of curling the fingers so you're holding something in space. Feel the ball of prana between your hands. We talk about the chakras in the central channel, but there's also the chakras in the center of the palms and the center of the feet. Take a breath in. Gently palms down, exhale. To the eyes, inhale. Press out, exhale. Draw in. And down. So mark the 4 points of the breath. The empty, pause. The inhale, pause. The exhale, navel back, pause. Don't add the uddiyana, it's just a pause. Inhale. Pause. Exhale. Pause. One more. Inhale. Now turning the heels forward as your hands come down. 12 inches between your feet. Chakra bandha. Turn the hands out. Sink the hip. Lift the gaze. Track the knees over the center of the foot. Sink from the root of the thigh. Fully exhale as you chin forward, lift the hips slightly, turn the heels out, hop the feet out wide, Prasarita Padottanasana. Hands back between the feet. Engage the legs as you press down to the bones, firm the thigh muscles. Inhale, lengthen the chin forward. Exhale, bend the elbows, take the head down. Reintroduce the uddiyana. So as you exhale, follow the navel to the spine. Slight hold with the navel back. Inhale into that space behind the navel. Couple more. Lengthen the sternum away from the navel as you inhale. Follow the navel back to the spine as you exhale. Then exhaling fully. Release your arms out to the sides. Take the back of the wrist on the top of the foot. Relax the shoulders. Relax the crown down. Then hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers. Whatever's a habit, do it the other way. Straighten the arms as you inhale. Release the weight of the arms towards the floor, keeping them straight, extending from elbow to wrist. Keep the outside of the foot pressing into the floor. Draw up from the inner arch, all the way up through the inner leg. Couple more. And exhaling fully, press the feet down, come all the way up, inhale. Bend your knees, step or hop your feet together. So I just want to show you the little sequence that comes next. I'll show it to you on one side, then you'll do it on both sides. Okay? So we will come from the last position. Your hands are interlaced, so you're going to take them down. Lift up, I'll say bring your feet together, well not together, sorry, a little closer. You're going to one side. So now when you come to the side, don't let this hip fall in. This hip has to stay back. We lengthen through the crown. Bend from the waist. And we take the thread through, so shift. The elbow comes first, not your hand. Elbow. Head in, elbows wide. Good place for the Uddiyana. Then you're going to release and turn over towards your left leg for a reverse Trikonasana. Fingertips, you can use a brick if you have one. I'm going to keep the gaze down. Hopefully you can see the Uddiyana there. Hands behind, Parsvottanasana. We leave the top hand where it is. We bend the knee, step back. Trikonasana. Now watch my bottom waist here. My bottom waist. We come forward and out. You go to the other side. Okay? So you have 3 poses in one. Well, 4 really. You have the thread through, reverse Trikonasana, Parsvottanasana, step back Trikonasana. Okay? And then the other side. What's called an Asana Vinyasa. Shall we go? So, feet wide, not as wide as you had them, a little bit closer, and just go down in the middle. Relax the head down. And you're going to your right leg, so right hand up by the knee, left hand on the ankle. Try not to move your head or your spine, just look between your legs. Engage the thighs, bring the hips forward, bring the spine forward a little. Lengthen through the crown of the head as you inhale. And start to bend the elbow as you exhale. Slowly draw the hairline in last. That left hip bone, pubic bone should stay lifted. Left pubic bone should stay lifted. Now you can stay with this as a simple twist. If the thread through looks like a bit too much, that's fine, just stay where you are. Now, otherwise, turn the left heel in, lunge into the left heel. You're going to thread your right elbow between the arm and the shin, reach for the left ankle. Elbows bend out away from each other as you take your head in. Slide the left heel out again so the feet are parallel. You're going to feel like your hips went to the left. So take your hips to the right, away from your gaze. Hips to the right. If you're not doing the thread through, just do the first simple one, it's fine. Then you're going to release your head back to the center, those that went into the thread through. And we're going to turn over towards the left leg. So turn on your mat. Turn your feet towards the left top of your mat. Make sure the feet are going forward as best you can, particularly the back foot. Now right hand to the outside of the left foot. Stay on your fingertips or brick. Left hand cuts the waist to go up. Keep your right pubic bone lifted. Lengthen your sternum forward. Keep your gaze down as you turn your waist up. So right pubic bone lifted, back heel firm, sternum lengthening forward, waist and ribs turning to the left. Keep the gaze down. Good. Keeping those legs straight and firm. One more breath. Fully exhale. Now, you level the shoulders towards the floor. Take the arms out. Turn from the wrist, behind the back. You can only do one hand, do the right hand. Lower the head in gently. Keep lengthening the sternum away from the navel, even as you go in. Keep the legs firm. Exhale to Uddiyana. Hold the navel back for the inhale. Exhaling fully. As you lift your head and spine, gently bend your front knee. Take your left hand to the left ankle. Pause. You're going to step your right foot back and turn the foot slightly out. You're moving towards Trikonasana, so the stance is a little bit wider. The back foot's turned out more. As you bring your hand up onto the ankle, maybe closer to the shin, move that left hip into the body. Keep the right hand behind the back. Roll the top shoulder open. Turn the head. Now, if you saw my waist from the last one, that left waist lifts into the body. And you feel the right waist open. The right hip more accentuated. Left waist moves up into the body. Press back into that back heel more firmly. Take the head back. Turn from the base of the occiput, the base of the skull turns up. Then release the hand last. Keep that bottom waist drawing up. Back leg firm from the hip to the heel. Exhale all the way to Uddiyana, one more breath. Then the top arm comes forward towards the ear. And you're going to bring the arm down and out to the side. Start back in the first position. Or back of the wrist on the top of the foot. You're going to feel very lopsided between sides. You want to do on one side. Exhaling fully. First simple twist. Right hand to the right hand to the left ankle. Left hand just above the shin on the outside of the knee. Bring your head and spine back into the center if you move them. Keep the legs firm. Lengthen through the crown of the head. Inhale. Bending from the elbow. Waist turning in. Head coming in last. The right pubic bone has to stay lifted. Right hip bone has to stay lifted. Now this is the simple twist. So for some of you, best to stay here for a little while. Those of you moving into the thread through, turn the right heel in, lunge into the right leg, left elbow threads through between the forearm and the shin, grab the ankle, elbows wide, head in, slide the heel out. Feet parallel. Now your gaze is to the right, but take your hips to the left. Hips to the left. Now you're going to release your head back to the center. We're moving across to the right leg in front. So pars, reverse trikonasana, turn the right leg out, left foot forward. Left fingertips to the outside of the foot, on the brick or the floor. Right arm goes up, look down, keep the left pubic bone lifted. Keeping the back heel firm, then lengthen the sternum away from the navel as you inhale. Turn the waist and the ribs to the right as you exhale and as you're empty. The gaze stays down, top arm lifts up. Waist turns, pelvis level, left pubic bone lifted. Good, a couple more breaths. Ground that back heel more firmly, lengthen through the crown of your head. Get space between all the vertebrae as you turn. One more breath. And as you level the shoulders towards the floor, arms out to the sides, turn from the wrist and the upper arm, hands behind the back if you're only doing one arm. Do the right. Have we got that right? Do the left. Apologize. Do the left only if it's one arm. Then lengthen the sternum forward and then fold in slowly. The front leg, outer hip travels back and in. Draw up firmly on that front thigh, all the way back and in with the hip. Amalia, your back foot needs to turn forward more. Back foot forward more. Turn your toes forward towards the front of your mat. More, even more. Keep going. Slide your left heel back more. Yes, more. More. Till your hips face the front of your mat. That's better. Now, you're going to take, as you lift your trunk slowly, leave the hands behind, just lower the right hands to the ankle. Bend the knee and step gently back, wider spread, the back foot turns out more. As you lift up on the shin, draw that right hip into the body. As you roll the top shoulder open, start to turn the head. Now lift that right waist into the body. Right waist up. Back heel firm. Then finally let the arm float up. From the back heel, lengthen all the way through the crown of the head. Lengthen from the occiput, so the base of the skull, as the chin comes in slightly, turn from the occiput. Not from the head going back, but from the turning on the occiput. One more breath. Exhale fully, then let the top arm come forward. And then around to the front. Legs wide again. And arms back. Back of the wrist on the top of the foot. Relax the head down. Keep the legs firm. Now, if you place your hands on your ankles, turn your heels in, toes out. Heels in, toes out. Legs firm. Arms are going to reach out to the side as you start to come up. So press down through the legs. Use your legs, not your back. Feet are turned out. Inhale. And exhale. Good. I'm just going to center myself. Now we're going to move through the Kartikeya movement. Most of you know it, some of you not so well. So be patient with yourself. It's a tricky medium to learn it if it's still pretty new. But we'll just do it slowly a few times. Okay? So exhaling fully. Palms come together as you bend the elbows. Inhale, sink the hips. Exhale, relax on your feet. And exhale fully. Take a breath in. Press out, arms straight, legs straight, palms open to the front. Let's do that a few times. Bend the elbows, palms together. Inhale. Press the arms out. Exhale. Elbows and knees together. This is a coordinating of the limbs. Elbows and knees together. Inhale. Bend. Exhale. Straighten. Again. Inhale. Bend. Exhale. Straighten. One more. Inhale, bend. Elbows and knees together. Exhale, straighten together. Now, right arm goes back, left heel goes out. One movement together. Boom. Let's do that again. Bring the heel in, bring the hand back. Right arm, left heel together. Right hand comes behind to the hip. It's like it wants to grab the kidney on the left side. Then back. We'll do that a few times.